So the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that's EPRA, has formulated regulations geared towards liberalizing the electricity market. Now, these regulations, once gazetted, will enable private sector investors, including independent power producers, to engage in the distribution of electricity. Here's our reporter Jasmine Wamboi with the details.
Kenya Power has traditionally enjoyed monopolistic rights to the retail supply of power. This until the Energy Act of 2019 opened up the distribution market for competition. The government is now putting up a structure where in the next 3 years, customers could buy power from other companies. Today, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority undertook a public participation workshop to deliberate on Draft Energy Regulations 2024 on electricity market, bulk supply and open access. These regulations, once gazetted, are set to govern aspects like generation, importation, exportation, transmission, distribution and retail supply of electrical energy. EPRA says these regulations were crafted in response to a plea by independent power producers petitioning for access to power transmission and distribution.
What happens is a principle, as you're calling it, open access, that allows for the infrastructure that is already in place in transmission or in distribution to have a regime that allows all the players to be able to use that line on the basis of principles that are set in the regulations, and these are the regulations that we're here discussing today, and also upon paying a small fee which is called a wheeling tariff. So these regulations will allow us to operationalize electricity markets.
And while consumers are expected to enjoy optionality on the basis of cost and quality of service, EPRA's Kiptor says commercial competition in the retail supply of power will not necessarily mean lower power prices for consumers.
In terms of the cost of power, there is an opportunity here today, because when you talk about a wheeling tariff, that will be an additional cost on the wheeling tariff. But when you talk about smart grids and reduction of losses, we see this being able to counterbalance. The additional cost of wheeling would be actually negated or wiped out by the additional benefit of bringing efficiency in the system.
And while the open access principles may not necessarily bring down the cost of power, Kenyans could expect a more reliable supply of power as more retailers come into play. Jasmine Wamboi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.